Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum salam.
I really find some of the brothers, especially those who don't understand Arabic well, they're carrying English Quran. When can they do that? Can they do that during Isha prayer, for example? Can they do that during Taraweeh prayer? And what about dua in English? Can they do that as well? Can the Imam read dua in English? Or what are the options for them here?
طيب بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. At American Assembly Muslim Jurists in North America, we discussed this issue, and I even wrote a paper about this. And the conclusion that we came to, that, or at least in my paper, was that if a person who will follow the Imam don't understand Arabic at all, and especially in Taraweeh, it's a longer prayer, he can look at the translation, but without reading in English. Like he cannot say, "Oh, the Lord of the world," stuff like that. He cannot read in English. That might invalidate his prayer or her prayer. But with their eyes, they can look at the translation.
Okay, so silent reading.
Silent reading.
Yes.
As for the dua, and that's applicable to to all the Taraweeh or the Sunnah prayer, can he do that in Isha? I prefer not. But in my opinion, it will not invalidate his prayer. But I would prefer not to do that, reading the translation for Isha and Fajr and obligatory prayers. Also, one of the things, he can put an earpiece. Now there is certain app will translate, or he can listen to the translation while the Imam going. So he knows it starts from verse number 6, for example, in Surah Al-Saffat. So he will put it and he start playing it while the Imam is, so he can hear the English translation while he's hearing. I don't prefer that because it will prevent him from listening to the Quran. Listening to the Quran in itself an act of worship. Listening to the Quran itself has a beauty, has a flavor, has an impact on the soul, even if you don't understand. So that's why reading might be a better way.
And it's the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنصِتُوا.
Yes. So, in another point, which is making dua in English, or Urdu, or Bengali, or French, or Spanish, whatever language that you're familiar with. You are allowed to make dua in any language in your salah, obligatory prayer or volunteer prayers. After you do the adhkar, you do Subhana Rabbi al-Azim. Then after that, you can do whatever dua you want. Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, and you can do whatever dua you want after that in your own language about whatever you wish and you want. In tashahhud.
You said Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, but the position of that is ruku'.
Yeah.
Can they do dua during ruku'?
Yeah. In Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam Bukhari used to say, Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, Allahumma ghfirli. Fil Bukhari, oh may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me. In any way, the best time for dua, no doubt, sujood, and before salam, after tashahhud. So you can make the dua in any language that you want. As for the qunut, can you make the dua al-qunut in English? If you pray by yourself, yes, you can do it in English. Dua al-qunut, you can do it in English if you pray by yourself. But if it's a masjid, and the masjid have a mix of people, no, you do it in Arabic. Because it became wahida min sha'air al-Islam. One of the sign of al-Islam, that the language of al-Islam is al-Lugha al-Arabiya, the language of the Quran. And with this, I don't believe that you should or allowed to do it in English for a congregation. Unless there is a congregation, all of them don't understand Arabic. None of them. Let's imagine this musalla, all of them don't speak Arabic. They speak a different language. Can they do it in a different language than Arabic? Yes, until they learn, or he mix between the Arabic and the English until they learn. Because it's the same, it's a da'a, it's a concept. Right, yes. If you allowed it in sujood, you can allow it in qunut. But in the masajid in general, no, it should be in Arabic, where there is a mix of people. But one of the things that we do here in the masjid, CLIC Center, and I ask the Mashaykh and Amja and others, alhamdulillah, and they agreed with it, that what we provide an instant translation, where people can have a piece in their ear, like an earpiece for hearing, and they log on some website, and Waleed Shaykh, Jazakallah khair, he
They do
give
live
translation in the dua.
Right.
So they understand what you do. And finally, I would say, if you leading a community, majority of them don't understand Arabic, make your dua short. Because people really don't understand what you're doing.
You're right.
And people just don't get it. Maybe you enjoying it, maybe 10 people, but like there's a 300-400 people behind you don't understand. Or provide for them something else. Some masajid also, they put the dua qunut on TVs and a screen. And it goes, because it's the same dua every day.
In a loop, yeah.
In a loop. So that's also possible. Or
But wouldn't that distract them?
No, they pray and they can see it in front of them. I mean, some masajid do. I like the earpiece much better. Also because if the imam does not have the same dua every day, the same order, the same way, it's more mechanical in my opinion. But in any case, any way that you accommodate people, you make people enjoy, but also at the same time to encourage them to learn. And make sure you do the dua that it is common in the Quran and Sunnah.
Right.
رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. The best dua that you can make, Anas radiallahu anhu said, he said, what can be better than this? Focus on a variety of things. Protections for yourself, for your family, for your ummah, for the deen.
That it include everybody in the community.
Yeah,
right?
For the ummah Muslim, for the community. So many times people forget to pray for their own community, for all masjid.
Yeah. And you have people who are sick.
Yeah. For sickness, for people who are in debt, for youth, for people who are going through a hard time, and so forth.
And it's not performance, it's sincere dua,
It's a sincere dua, yeah. Performance is the worst thing. The dua, it comes from the heart. It's really effective.
Right.
Ibn al-Qayyim, he said, a weapon. But the weapon is as good as the hand that's handling it.
Right.
Sword, give it to some shaky hands, will not do anything.
Exactly.
Give it to a firm hand, it will cut through.
And the hand here is the heart.
The heart.
Basically, yeah.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykhna.
Barakallah feek, Shaykh.